Hello buddies, so today I decided to try something new to me. So I had this my buttercream that remained from the last cake I made. So I was kind of thinking, what can I make with this buttercream? And this thought came into my mind, guys, let's do this together. So the first thing I did was I had to get this buttercream. I was like, this buttercream, oh yes, I'm going to find something to turn you into. So the next thing I did was to get my bowl. Now to that I added 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Next I added 1 teaspoon of salt. Next I went in with 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, half tablespoon of instant dry yeast, and 1 tablespoon of milk powder or powdered milk. Next I went in with half cup of water, room temperature water precisely. Then I started mixing everything. After combining that, I added extra water, but this time around I guess the water I added was kind of much, so I should have added about 1/8 cup of water, but the water I added I think is was much. Okay, so next I added about 2 tablespoons of margarine. Okay, now like I said, the water I added was kind of much because I noticed that my dough became too sticky than I wanted it to be. Okay, so that made me to start adding flour little by little, little by little. So after adding the first 1 tablespoon of flour, I added another 1 tablespoon on my work surface, and I still noticed this thing was too sticky to my liking because I don't want my dough to be too sticky this way. So I kept on adding flour little by little, little by little, as I also continued kneading the dough because I want this dough to be very soft and as usual. So I ended up using about 5 tablespoons of flour, extra 5 tablespoons of flour aside the 2 cups that I measured earlier. Okay, so this was just to make sure that my dough doesn't stick too much, and also I have that type of dough that I wanted. So at the end of the day I had to wrap this dough to rest for 20 minutes, guys, as usual. So after the 20 minutes I took out the dough, then added a little bit of flour on my work surface, transferred this dough on my work surface again because now this dough is a little bit too soft, so I got to handle it with care. Yeah, so I was kind of being careful handling the dough. Okay, so you know little bit of flour here and there, little bit of flour here and there, so it doesn't stick that much to your hands. Okay, so if you're making yours, you can reduce the water. Start with, after the half cup you can start with 1/8 cup of water and gradually increase if your flour is a strong flour, because I guess this flour is a soft flour, that's why it happened this way. So I had to divide the dough into 100 grams each, and I had the last one which is 85 grams left. So to each dough I rolled it out flat, such as you see. Then I scooped in my buttercream, my leftover buttercream. Yeah. So I scooped in my leftover buttercream and made sure that I pinched it very well so it doesn't open. Okay, so once I was not pinching it this way, I had to just push it a little bit at the top to flatten a little. Then I transfer on my baking tray like with a baking paper, cover this and let it proof for 1 hour before baking. Now when I was ready to bake, after the 1 hour, when I was ready to bake, I had to brush the top of this dough with water. You can also use egg wash or milk, but I usually like to use water. So after brushing with water, I sprinkled with sesame seed, although this particular part is optional if you don't want to, but I just want to make it attractive, make it look good and all that. In case you want to use it for business, you can just make it attractive. So I have to pat on the dough a little so that the sesame seed can stick. You can do this even before proving the dough. You can just immediately after molding the dough, apply the water, sprinkle your sesame seed and let it proof with the dough. Okay, so I bake this in my preheated oven at 180 degrees C for 45 minutes, and or you can bake according to your oven temperature. Okay, so once they were out of the oven, immediately I brushed them with butter at the top or margarine so that they will be super soft. And guys, the taste of this was super amazing. Like seriously, you need to try this. So here are some tips I need to share. One, you have to be careful while adding water during the making of the dough. 2, don't add too much of buttercream inside the dough. 3, ensure to space this dough out while they proof. Okay, make sure that you space them out on the baking tray while they proof, so that by the time you bake them, they don't kind of push on each other and the buttercream may pop out so much. Okay, so these are the tips I would like to share with you, so that when you are making yours, you're going to make it absolutely amazing. Thank you all for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye.